Hey everybody, Jen here. I hope everyone's doing great today. It's a beautiful day here in New York, and I'm really excited to be doing this very special session of my Thursday IG Live Inspired Talks. Today I'll have with me a friend and colleague named Victoria Albina. She's really quite a powerhouse. She's an incredible practitioner. She's been working in the health field for 20 plus years in lots of different capacities, ranging from being a nurse practitioner. She's been a functional medicine practitioner. She's an herbalist. She has been doing breath work with clients for many years, and she's a life coach. And, I think in Victoria's process, and we'll be asking her, but in her process of working with patients and seeing their struggles as they relate to their health and as they relate to the stressors that they carry, I think she came to a place where she thought she could really make a huge impact by working on the coaching piece. So actually, Victoria just hopped on over here. So let's see if we can get her. We'll go right and ask her to explain more about this. So we're just waiting for Victoria to connect. Hi.
Hi, sweet pea. How are you?
You look amazing. How are you?
You're too sweet. I'm doing really well, thank you. My lighting's funky, but I'm not going to let my perfectionism get in the way of doing it.
That's right. Practice what you preach.
That's right, Tiger. I know. I need a new lamp. We're in our new place.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
I'll work the lighting out.
I just started briefly introducing you, and I was just started to tell people how, you've been like this powerhouse of a practitioner for 20 years, doing all these different things from nurse practitioner to functional medicine to herbalism, breath work, life coaching. And, what I was saying is how you kind of saw this huge need with your patients that they just, sometimes they couldn't break through different illnesses really because of that emotional and the stress piece and the trauma piece that wasn't healed.
Absolutely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your process and how you came to where you are right now, that's really your main focus.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I'll introduce myself to people who are new to me. My name is Victoria Albina. I use she, her pronouns, and I am coming to you live from occupied Lenape territory in the Hudson Valley of New York State.
Wow.
Very exciting.
Amazing.
Very nice to have a break from the Brooklyn. But so I am a holistic nurse practitioner. I trained at UCSF. I did functional medicine for a very long time. And I'm really focused on life coaching to help human socialize as women to overcome codependency, perfectionism, and people pleasing. Mm-hmm. And my story is much like many people who do this kind of work. I was so sick, Jen, and you know that, right? Like I was like, the IBS, the wicked SIBO, the GERD, the blastocystis hominis, the H. pylori, like every bug on earth was like, I know a really great place to live. Have you heard of Victoria Albina? Let's go there. Let's go. Why not, right? And I tried all the things. Starting in my 20s, I started learning about herbal medicine, about nutrition. I did a master's degree in public health because I wanted to do a broader sort of approach to health through the lens of public health. I've always been obsessed with behavior change and psychology and that mind-body interface. And after working in public health for many years, I missed that one-to-one human contact, Yeah. So I went to UCSF and I studied to be a nurse practitioner, which was phenomenal. Yeah. I loved that program. I loved everything about it. And thought, I should cut my teeth. I should learn the basics. I should do primary care. And I also really wanted to give back. So I worked with underserved communities. And then I worked at a big organization in New York City doing primary care. And I loved it. And no matter how long the appointment time was, I didn't have time to get to the root cause. Right?
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's when I launched my private practice doing functional medicine. And through this whole period, I was on and off really, really sick. Digestively, my adrenals were a hot mess. You have held me as I've cried at the assemblage to you about what a hot mess.
As we all have.
As we all have. as we all have. So, yeah, I was a hot mess, just to put it like elegantly, but with so much love for myself. I was really holding a lot of trauma and stress and a lot of really negative stories about myself within my physiology. And I had no idea I was doing it. I didn't realize that being codependent with my patients, which I will own that, right? If they didn't follow instructions or if they didn't get better, it meant something about me. It meant I was failing. I wasn't doing a good job. I needed to take another webinar or go to another conference or learn another thing instead of trusting my own innate wisdom and my intuition and my just knowing what the next step was.
Yeah.
So it was really looking in those things and looking at how I was treating myself and how easily I was beating myself up for not being perfect and not like knowing everything. That was the turning point for me when I really started stepping into this really vibrant new health. And that's when my SIBO started to go away. It makes sense, right? And we can nerd about yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, please. But, you know, you and I can nerd about the migrating motor complex in the small intestine, which is a big thing that we talk about when we're talking about parasites, bacterial overgrowth, you know, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, which is a really serious concern for a lot of folks.
Sure.
I think more and more these days. And I think one of the predominant reasons why those bacteria stick around is stress and anxiety, right? Not trusting ourselves, being mean to ourselves, beating ourselves up for being human, because all of those stress reactions put us right into sympathetic dominance. And from that fight or flight, your digestion, your thyroid, your hormones, everything's like
turned off.
So
let me just backtrack for one.
Let's do it.
So basically, just to reiterate this very important point that Victoria is bringing up. So you had been going through sort of a health battle of your own. You had been trying to kind of wrestle your symptoms. Maybe you were getting better and then maybe you weren't better. I'm kind of making my own version of what you just said. But it wasn't really until you kind of found your own self-love and kind of healed maybe some of the things that had been driving you to have not beneficial thought patterns and not look at yourself as this incredible perfect being in your imperfectness.
Right.
That until you embrace that, or when you embrace that, that was really when these chronic health conditions that were sticking around started to one by one drop off. Is that
exactly
correct?
Yeah. And I always want to say it, right? Mindset is huge. It's the overarching thing. And I never want anyone to take away from anything I'm saying that mindset is everything on its own. I needed the good probiotics, the prebiotics. I needed fistfuls of biocidin and other herbs. I had Blastocystis hominis. It's a nasty bug.
Nasty. Yeah.
Nasty. And I needed to stop eating gluten and sugar and processed dairy and the caffeine. But that's what holistic needs to mean to me. The mind and the body and the breath work for me, the spirit. Not one, not the other, all of it.
Absolutely. And ideally, that's what it should mean to anyone that's calling themselves a holistic practitioner and trying to work with clients in a holistic way. But you really have tapped into like fully embracing that, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today. Because I think your path is so inspirational, and the way that you work with your patients and your clients is so kind of unique because you really get down in the mud. You really get in there and wrestle with them to help them find the love for themselves. And it's very different than what most practitioners do today.
Yeah, you know, I try to give every single client what I wish I had gotten when I was really sick at 20 and 22, when I was often like kind of debilitated by my physiologic symptoms and the mental health, emotional health, the story part of it that was both underlying it, right? Because it's this back and forth. It's this negative feedback loop where it feeds into itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if we're not, yes, the microbiome's a root cause. Yes, zinc balance is a root cause. Yes, the terrain writ large is a root cause for everything we see physiologically. But yeah, mindset has to be part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because folks like you and I are like, okay, take all of these supplements. And someone's like, yeah, okay, in the office, because they're used to being a people pleaser. And so they want to keep us happy with them. And then they get home and they're like, all of these, but they don't tell us, right?
So interesting.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Or
and you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see that. I see that sometimes. Yeah, and sometimes I think it's hard to recognize because like where non-compliance and where it's coming from. Because with me, I don't know about with you, because I'm doing a different type of work. My clients don't always come to me and say, hey, I'm used to saying yes to what everybody wants me to do. And so I just said yes to these things, but I don't want to do it. We don't have that conversation.
Right.
So sometimes it's hard for me to kind of drill down and figure out, okay, why is this happening? What's the block?
Right. Why is this not working?
Yeah.
Why is this like perfect treatment plan not working?
Right.
And again, you can take the fistful of supplements and not love yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the energetics of everything we do really, really, really matters. Right?
Totally. I agree with that 100%. Can you actually talk about that a little bit more? Because for my perspective on something like that, I have seen people believe that a supplement's going to help them, and it does. And I've seen people afraid to take a supplement because they are afraid of taking supplements and think it's going to hurt them, and it hurt them. So I do very much believe like the energy that you're putting into whatever it is that's coming into your body is something that can change the way you receive it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's supplements. I think that's food. I think that's movement. Let's grab movement, right? So you wake up in the morning and you look at your naked body and you're like, oh, I hate my thighs. I'm going to go run. So you run, but it's with self-hate and it's to change your body and it's because you're not thin enough, right? Like, whoa, what is the energetics of exercising with that kind of an energy, with that intention, right? If we think about the molecules of emotion, is that really giving you that serotonin-based endorphin, that oxytocin, right? Like, is it creating that more positive self-love, that energy within you? Or is it just another thing that's dragging you down in the world?
That's
so you
heavy.
can, right? It's so heavy, but it's so real, right? And listen, day 4 of exercising full of self-hate, wanting to change yourself because you don't think you're perfect or worthy of love, even on that subconscious level. Because I don't think a lot of people are out there being like, I hate myself, so I'm going to exercise. But maybe it sounds a little different, right?
Sure.
Day 4 of that, you're going to quit.
Right.
Because of course you are, right? Because your autonomic nervous system is like, whoa, enough with the cortisol, babe. Versus doing it from self-love, right? Doing it from a positive intention. Like, I work out because it helps me be focused, sleep well, have great poops, have good mood. Like, it makes me feel good. So I do it from that energy and it feels better. Right?
And then it's easy to do it because you feel like this is so exciting. I'm doing something great for myself. It's like a gift instead of like it's a punishment.
God, yeah, so well said. So well said. Exactly.
I always want to give myself more gifts than punishment. So sign me up for the gifts anytime.
I love that. I love that framing, right? Yeah. Literally everything we do in life can be either a gift or neutral.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm not out here, and I know you're not out here for like bullshit, fake positivity and like positive vibes only. Like, that's not. Yeah.
It's not real. It doesn't help you attain your goals. And,
Right.
you know, like here's an example for me.
Yeah.
Like I got a tick bite last week. I had a black, you know, legged deer tick embedded in my back. Right. So I had to pull it out, and I have, you know, a long history of GI issues, right? So like all my clients, I'm on a health journey. I'm autoimmune. So I've been so balanced and so great for a really long time. The thought of taking doxycycline for 20 days
20 days.
is a bummer because it's going to wreck my gut.
Uh-huh.
So instead of going there to that place,
Yep.
I was like, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm
Yeah.
so lucky. I found the tick before it gave me Lyme. I'm
Right.
so lucky I could get a prescription for 20 days. I could start it immediately, and that I know what to do. I'm going to give probiotics to myself and do all these things to
Right.
help manage the side effects of that. So instead of being upset and like crying, I have to take this medication, I'm thrilled. I'm so grateful. And do you know what I actually did? And here it is. Before I take it every time, I talk to it. I hold it, talking about the
I
energetic.
love that.
And I say, thank you for coming into my body. I'm asking you to bring me the benefit with little side effects and with gentle kindness and ease. So I actually am expecting it to be more benign.
That's beautiful. That is like just the definition of something beautiful that you're doing for yourself. It's like you're taking the literal same thing that could feel like poison or feel like help.
Like a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So
That's beautiful.
how do you work with clients to get them to sort of learn these techniques for reframing? Because that's what we're talking about, right? It's learning to look at things from a different point of view and making that part of your life.
Yeah. So we start with awareness. Everything has to start with awareness. And the process is stepping through awareness, acceptance, and action. It's very much the American way to try to jump to action, right? Mm-hmm. To like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Let me eat something. Let me call someone. Let me scroll my phone. Let me do anything other than stay in that discomfort, because we aren't taught to stay in discomfort, right? And we resist it, we push against it, we try to like buffer. You know, like if I take that discomfort and push it aside, like I won't see it, like it'll go away, which it won't. It'll just come back stronger, right? Right. I think of like, you know, like a toddler when they pull on your pant leg and they're like, hello, hello.
I'm down here.
Right? And if you ignore them, they get louder and louder and louder. So it's like that. So we start with that awareness, because so many of us are walking through life totally unaware, right? Not connected to our thoughts and the feelings they create, not really pausing to ask, like, why am I taking action in this way? Why am I doing that? Why is my mind, body, spirit moving me to pick a fight with my partner as soon as everything feels good? To just decide I'm going to like stop taking all my supplements just because like, I don't know, I just stopped. Yeah. Like how many times in clinic have you heard that? Like, I don't know.
All the time. Every day, at least one person says it.
Right? Yeah. And it's usually once it's doing well. Once they're doing well.
Yeah, it's like that self-sabotaging and they have no idea why or, you know, what's going on.
Right. It's not conscious. It's not intentional. It's coming from habit, from habitual, unintentional patterns that usually stem from early childhood and the ways that we learn to survive and attempt to keep ourselves safe psychologically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So when we can look at all of the thoughts and feels we're having, all of the actions we're taking and the results we're creating in our lives through this lens of asking, how is my inner child trying to keep me safe? How is my nervous system trying to keep me safe? And how can I love, like wildly freaking love these parts of me that are, like self-sabotaging, but are doing it with love. Right? Like when your dog misses you, he eats your shoe, not because he hates you, but he's like, this smells like my mom.
It's so true. It's so true. You just can't hold it in. It's got to explode out. And sometimes it just, the way it explodes out doesn't look like what we'd like it to look like.
Exactly. Exactly. So we get to start with reframing all of our defense mechanisms, self-sabotage, resistance, right? Being lazy, all of these things
Right.
that we don't like the outcomes. And I don't want those outcomes for my clients and my patients, but I want us to back up and not try to change the outcome, because that doesn't last. That's New Year's resolution style. That's BS.
Totally.
That doesn't last. What lasts, like a literal lifetime, is stepping back and asking, where is this protection coming from? That's triggering my autonomic nervous system, fight or flight, that dorsal immobilization, depression, freeze. I can't write the blog post. I can't do the live. I can't exercise. I want to exercise, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's coming from there. So once we have that awareness, then we step into the part that admittedly sucks the most.
What part's that?
Acceptance.
Oh. Is it the worst? Is that the worst?
Oh, I think it's the worst.
Is it? Why? Why is that the worst?
Because who wants to accept that we do these things?
Well, I feel like seeing it in the first place can sometimes be the worst.
Okay.
Like once you see it, maybe you can be like, yeah, all right, it's there. But sometimes you're even I don't want to know that I did this.
Okay, fair. Maybe they both just suck.
Maybe they both suck. Yeah. I think it all sucks. It's all hard.
Sucks.
It's hard. This is hard work.
It's hard work. And what I remind my clients all day, every day, is what sucks more and is more hard work and is worse feeling in the long run is not making the changes.
Right.
And living a life you just don't like or don't love or don't have joy in, right? Living in those habitual patterns is the suckiest.
Yeah. Because then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like if you don't work through these things and stay stuck in your patterns, you wind up living sort of a life that doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like it. Because you're living for everyone else. You're living for what everyone else sees you as and what they want you to be and what they want you to do, rather than truly following your own heart and being fulfilled.
Exactly.
That sucks.
That sucks the most.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I had a client recently who's 38, and she told me she's always wanted kids, but she hates her husband and she doesn't want to have kids with him. But she really wants kids, and she doesn't know what to do because she feels stuck in the marriage. Yeah, it's those kind of things where it's that situation is wicked challenging.
Yeah, these are the, and I feel like these really hard decisions, like these big life altering decisions, is where you wind up, right? If until you're doing the work, so you can kind of navigate your way before you wind up at that spot. But when you're at that spot, I feel like it's never too late to start working through the process. I mean, you said 38?
Yeah.
Super young.
Super young.
Super young. What a wonder. Reframe it. What an incredible time for someone to work through these decisions either way. And either say, you know what, maybe this is the person, maybe I'm too hard on him or her or whatever, or maybe this is not what I want. I'm going to get out, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to find someone else, and I'm going to follow my baby wish. You know, whatever it is, but it's always a good time to get on it if you feel that burning in you.
Couldn't agree more. And to recognize that making those choices is really challenging until you get good at making choices.
Yes.
Right. And so many of my clients and our shared clients and shared patients have a really challenging time with indecision.
Yes.
Ooh.
Almost crippling. And sometimes it's little things, right? When I see a client or just a person I know who chronically has issues picking between two color shirts, little things, sweating those little things, then you know, there's really something going on here.
Right. And again, it comes back to self-trust. Yeah. I mean, self-trust is one of the cornerstones of what I help folks to build, because again, we get to recognize where we're out of self-trust, get into that ventral vagal, that safe and social place with ourselves, and learn how to honor ourselves as humans that we can trust. Because if you can't trust you, it's really challenging to live in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, right? To have your human experience. And so I teach folks to make really, really, really tiny decisions, to choose like one thing and to just decide you're going to do it every day or every week or every month, whatever it is. We call it the minimum baseline. And to really zero in on what that minimum baseline is for you, and to practice doing it from that ventral vagal place, that safe and social, that connected place with yourself.
Amazing. Is that a way to sort of build tolerance so that you can kind of start then getting good at that level and then move up to the next level and the next level?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And you know, there's a couple of resources of yours that I want to bring up that I think are really powerful and important, and I want everyone to know about them. The two of them, I'll name them both, but we can talk in whatever order. One of them is your feminine wellness podcast that you do, and then the other one is your masterclass that you're running, because I think both of these are really helpful and powerful tools, and give a lot of guidance for people. So can you share a little bit about those two things?
Oh, with great joy. So the podcast is called Feminist Wellness. It comes out every single Thursday. It's on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. It's like on all the things. It is 100% free. It's an important part of my belief in the collective healing and providing free sliding scale resources so that everyone can access health, healing, and wellness.
So
everyone.
Good. Amazing.
Thank you. So that comes out every single week, and I talk about all sorts of topics, some functional medicine, a lot of psychology, life coaching, and always tie it back to things like feminism and how, there was an episode called Hypothyroidism is a Feminist Issue, because it really is, because how many humans socialized as women are told like, oh, your thyroid's fine, your TSH is 4.4, you're fine.
All the time.
All the time until they get to us, right?
Yeah.
So the podcast is phenomenal, and again, it's free and available everywhere. And next is my masterclass. So it's a 6-month live, small group, high-touch coaching program. We meet weekly for live coaching as a family. There's a Slack group, so you can get coached by me literally every single weekday for 6 months. And It's a real, I know, it's...
So that's really hands-on. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but you know what?
Contact. I mean, the participants are so lucky. That's incredible.
Thank you. It's like truly the joy of my life. It's like everything I've ever wanted to share with the world and everything I've learned in my own healing journey, mind, body, spirit, rolled into one. And it's just, oh, Jen, I can't even. So like, it's so friggin' incredible. So it's 6 months. We learn all about how to overcome codependency, perfectionism, people pleasing, the sneaky ways these things, because they're insidious habits, right? They start to be sort of like the water you're swimming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't realize that I had all 3 of those thought habits, often simultaneously, right? Like, okay, I need to do this thing because he wants me to, even though I don't want to. So people pleasing. I want him to be happy, codependency. I better do it really, 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 really well.
Perfection.
So all 3 of them overlapping is this like perfect storm that keeps us frankly feeling like crap, feeling really disempowered, and keeps our digestion from working optimally. Keeps our adrenals jacked. Yeah.
You know what? Just say that again. I think some people hopped on a little bit later. I just want you to touch again on how these stressors affect and keep us in the sympathetic mode and what that means to the body.
Perfect. So our bodies have something called an autonomic or automatic nervous system. And this is that thing that, thank all the gods, keeps our heart and lungs and everything that happens in the middle of the animal ticking along. Now, Jen, how quickly would you be dead if you had to run your own heart?
I'd be in trouble because I'm a little scattered. So I think I'd forget to remind it to go.
Me too. I'd be lub dub.
Yeah,
Squirrel.
like, wait, I have to cook dinner.
Squirrel.
Wait, what? I have to do something with a client. Nope, dead.
Dead. So thank all the gods for the autonomic nervous system. So this nervous system has two main branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight, freak out. There's a lion chasing me. Ah, oh my God. I have to mobilize everything in my body, send all my energy, my energy, my blood, everything, heart, lungs, heart, lungs, heart, lungs. This can show up in these, few studies show that few Americans are being chased by lions these days, which is nice. Did you read that study?
That's a good one. No, I don't know that one.
I'll send you a link. PubMed.
So in other words, all the stuff we do doesn't matter because there's no saber-toothed tigers or lions chasing people. Okay.
Right. So you get like an email from your boss. You get a ping on the Slack. And you put a post on the Instagram and no one likes it.
Yeah.
You check it in 5 minutes, in 10, in 20, in 30. Will they like me? Oh, will they like me?
These are all lions.
They're all lions. And they keep you in that sympathetic dominance where adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol are throughout your body. And so your body's not doing the vital functions, digestion, thyroid, reproductive hormones. It's busy preparing for a lion. It's busy. Yeah. And then we've got parasympathetic. So one branch is ventral vagal. That's the front of the animal. That's safe, social. Hi, Jen. Hello. We're connected, right? The way we know that someone is safe for us, there's a couple main clues. So something called prosody of voice. So like a sing-song, nice voice versus like, hey, Jen, right? Like a rough voice.
Right.
That your body's like,
right.
Are you scary?
Right.
We also know crow's feet are like an amazing sign of safety. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. So when you see someone who has crow's feet, you automatically feel like, okay, this is okay?
When they smile with the full face. So
interesting.
There was this woman in my building who lived below us in my building in Brooklyn, and she smiled like this. And I was always like, whoa.
But it could have also been Botox, honey.
It could have been Botox. It's New York. It could have been Botox. You never know. She could have been very safe.
She was smiling on the inside. It just couldn't quite come out.
It's so painfully true. So when we see an authentic smile, hear a voice that's like, hello, I'm nice.
Yeah.
Our bodies go,
yeah.
We go into that safe and social. Digestion happens. Your T4 thyroid hormone gets converted into your T3, right? Your microbiome flourishes. That's migrating motor complex in your small intestine that moves your food after you chew it up. Please chew, babies. And you swallow it, it goes to your stomach, boom, boom, small intestine. It's either going to kind of sit there and rot and you're going to get SIBO, or it's going to go boom into your large intestine, right? Your body's going to do what it does, pull the water out, put the water in, and make a great poop, or not. And the or not can have to do with many, many things, but one of them is whether you are predominantly in this ventral vagal. Right, so people who eat in a rush or who eat while scrolling or watching TV or not paying attention are not in ventral vagal while eating.
Right.
You're not going to make a great poop. You're not going to have that digestion.
Right.
The last part of parasympathetic, the second part, is called dorsal vagal. So dorsal, I think of the dorsal fin on a shark. I also think of the door of the cave. So dorsal, door of the cave, back in cave animal times, your back is against the door, like hoping nothing comes in to eat you. And if it does, you're ready to play dead.
Play dead. Good analogy.
Play dead.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try. It's the ESL kids, I think, who come up with the best metaphors because my brain needs them.
Well, they're working because it's all getting in for me. So
oh, I'm so delighted. Oh, good. I'm so delighted. Yeah. So that immobilization you know, if you think of a possum playing possum or a
Right.
deer in the headlights, that's what that is.
Right.
And in humans, it can be depression. It
Yep.
can be, I give up. It can
Say
also.
that one more time. This is an important point, guys. Like when
Mhm.
we see an animal play dead to avoid being eaten, right? This is a tactic for preservation of life. And in humans, we do the same thing. So go ahead, in a different form.
It can look like depression. It can look like I don't want to get out of bed. It can also look like, okay, I've been meaning to write a novel this entire quarantine. I've been beating myself up every time I sit at the computer and don't do it. But today I'm going to write for 4 hours. Perfectionist thought fantasy, right?
Yeah. Very
right?
realistic to go from 0 to 4 hours.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And so you sit down and your mind goes blank. Right. Dorsal vagal. It happens when we are not in that trusting space with ourselves, right? If we go way back evolutionarily, we know that doing anything that was outside of the norm, outside of what was necessary for the village, if you called attention to yourself, that was dangerous. Because if you pissed off the tribal leaders, the village leaders, you could get excommunicated. If you get thrown out of the village, there's not another village for a 4-day walk. You don't have a spear. You don't have fire. You don't know how to kill an elk and eat it. Like, you're actually literally lunch meat.
Right.
Like, so we stay quiet. We stay, right, small. And we try to be perfect. So we don't get made the scapegoat. We don't get blamed. We don't get criticized. We don't get called out. We don't get told we're doing it wrong. Because we don't know how to manage that. And the person we least know how to manage it with is ourselves. And so when we are busy being our own bully, I know it's like wicked heartbreaking.
That was so heavy. My heart actually hurt a little bit on that one. Like it felt, and I think, you know, we've all been there, right? Well,
who hasn't?
I have.
Oh, hi.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, I'm still working through my own issues. I have plenty of stuff that I still, you know, at 51, I'm not done, and I doubt I ever will be.
And also, thank goodness, right? Because it means you're human and you're alive.
Yeah.
That you still have all these human emotions, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. And I think it plays out in functional medicine and in the life coaching I do, where people think that you're like eventually going to reach, and not eventually, pretty quickly, going to reach the state of like absolute nirvana. Yeah. And like, how many emails have you gotten over the years? It's like, oh my God, I had 1 episode of diarrhea. What's going on? And you're like, sounds like you pooped yourself. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah. And you know, that's the thing, like healing isn't always perfect. It's not, you know, it's not always forward. As you know, I've been on this really rant lately about healing's not linear. And then I was looking at your website today and I noticed that was maybe the last podcast we did. Or
today's topic.
Oh, it was today?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so timely because I feel like that's such an important concept. And I really hope everyone can hear that. Is that linear, you know, linear means you go one way, right? It's forward, it's straight ahead. And healing doesn't really follow that track. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes you feel great. And you're like, I'm cured. Everything in my life is perfect. And then the next day you feel like crap. And you're like, wait a minute. Why? You know, because it's going to be up and down. Right. But the goal is to kind of have that bird's eye perspective and look at the whole thing. And allow yourself the space to see that overall you're making steps, you're making progress. Right. And you don't have to be perfect. It's just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. And maybe being a human who's sometimes constipated or sometimes has diarrhea, sometimes is irritable with their spouse, sometimes snaps at someone and then apologizes, maybe is sad for a day. Like maybe that's also the most perfect embodiment of being a human mammal. Yeah. Maybe it's both and, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly, before I forget, I am in no way minimizing the panic that one feels after doing months and months of gut healing and then having diarrhea. If anyone on this live has shit themselves on a 6 trade.
Oh my God. Did that happen? God. Oh, you poor thing. I'm sorry.
Luckily, it was a midday 6, so it was like no one was there
Empty.
anyway.
Oof.
But so I just want to be really clear. I'm not minimizing or making fun of
Yeah,
anyone
no.
suffering.
No.
Right? Someone who's new to me might be like, ew. But like, baby, ooh, when I say that I have been there, I've been there so hard.
Yeah.
So sick for so long. And I would freak out if I had one day of diarrhea, or like would have 2 days of constipation, or increased gas. Or I remember this one time after my 4th round of Alinea for my blasto, I ate a whole bag of mini carrots and was in such gastric. I know. Come on, like the whole bag, because I hadn't
Oh,
eaten.
well. We
I
do these
know.
things
We do
sometimes.
these silly things. But I hadn't had fibrous foods because of the SIBO and the blasto for so long. I just was like, ah! And I'm part rabbit on my mother's side. So what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Oh my
No.
God, Jen, I was bloated out to here.
Oh my, I can imagine.
It was horrible, the pain. Anyway.
You know, back when I was sick, however many years ago that was, and I was going through my journey, and I saw someone for body work and spiritual work every week as part of my regimen to get better. So I was doing the medical piece, the nutrition piece, the supplement piece, the testing piece, the mind, body, spirit piece, and body work, right? So I was trying to really hit it on every level. And, you know, I am a perfectionist, right? So I'm still working on, this is one piece that I have to put down. But so in my head, I was going to get better. I was going to be perfect. I'm going to conquer it. And then I just remember, you know, I used to run my stool tests like ad nauseum.
I remember, like every month.
Yeah, like sometimes I was doing it like every 3 weeks. I was like so into it. And I remember getting tests back and just weeping because they weren't perfect. And this is God's honest truth. It was probably not until like the 6th or 7th stool test that it wasn't perfect. And I was like, you know what? I think I have to just accept that I'm not going to get a perfect stool test.
Right.
And you know what? Years later, after I gave all that up and my obsessing and my trying to manipulate the stool test, I almost always get a perfect stool test now. And I don't even care. Now it's like, all right, my main thing is that, you know, I'm living my life in a way that nurtures and feeds me. And that's my main thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of sweating all that little stuff and like panicking about everything.
Right. Right. Which, as you now know, keeps your body from being able to make you feel better. The irony. The absolute irony. Yeah.
I guess that's saying like, let go, you know, like they say, let go. What do they say? Let go, let God. I don't know what the is, but just letting go. I'll take that part. Just letting go is really sometimes the key to receiving.
Yeah. Agreed. And I just shared the link.
Where?
I put it in the chat, and then a couple people joined. Hello, new people. Oh. But victoriaalbina.com/masterclass. Can you pin it, Jen? It won't let me pin it.
I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, just hold it down, and then it'll give you the option to pin. Look at you getting more and more modern every day.
I'm holding it. Let's see. Okay, wait. It says report, pin comment. Okay.
Pin comment.
I pinned it.
Thank you. So if you want to learn more about my masterclass and how you can get professional support to put everything we've been talking about into action, to learn how to manage your adult mind and overcome codependency, perfectionism, and people pleasing, there you go. If you're not ready to take that leap, I'd love to share, if you don't mind, Jen, about some free offerings that I have.
Please do. And I also just want to say a quick thing, if this is okay with you. If anyone has a question for Victoria, we haven't actually, the conversation's been so nice, I haven't stopped to say that. So, you know, like all of these things that I do, these lives are always for you guys. So if anyone has a question, please hop on and type it in the comment box.
Thank you. I love that. So freebies. I have so many freebies. So most I'd say half of podcast episodes come with a free PDF download. Wow. So as you listen, when I say, go to my website and get the PDF, I mean it. There's a worksheet, there's journaling prompts, for free to be of service. Service is healing for me, the recipient, the universe. There we go. If you go over to victoriaalbina.com, right on the homepage, you will see a place to put your first name and your email in, and then you will get a suite of meditations sent to your email inbox. So it's 6 meditations. There are 2 exercises from the polyvagal somatic world, one called orienting and a grounding exercise. There's a boundaries meditation, inner child meditation, 2 body scans, 100% free, no strings attached. It's just to be of service. So you can head on over victoriaalbina.com and download those. You could also drop me a DM here on the gram. It's at Victoria Albina Wellness. And I actually have a new thing where you can send me text messages.
Really?
It's so much fun. I had to put my glasses on to see the link because, you know, some of us are from the 70s.
Some of us are from the 60s, my friend.
You won.
I don't want to win that one, but yes.
So I'm going to put the phone number in the text box. It's 917-540-8447. And you can send me a text message there. It's not a robot. It's me. Huh. These text messages go right to my, it's so much fun, Jen.
What do I do? Do I pin that?
Leave the masterclass pinned and people can write that one down. It's also on my link in bio.
Okay.
And so you can just send me a text there and then I'll text you back and I'll send you silly things. And I took a really good video of a chipmunk today that I'm planning to send tomorrow. Really exciting. But it's also inspirational quotes and journaling prompts and those kind of things.
Just again, sign up for this.
Sign up. It's really fun. She's really cute.
All right, doing it.
Do it. Why not? Yeah. And I love that invitation. If anyone has questions, go ahead and put them in the little chat box so Jen or I can answer them and talk more about how to overcome codependency, people pleasing, and perfectionism as a root cause of digestive, thyroid, mental health issues, chronic pain. All sorts of issues stem from this imbalance in the nervous system.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to say it one more time in really plain language, when you're in that stressed state, right, your vital organs and your vital functions slow down. They send energy to other parts of your body. So all those things like reproducing, forget it. It's going to be really hard to have a baby if you're chronically stressed or get pregnant. Digestion, you know, all these things, your immune system, everything kind of tanks. So the best thing you can do for yourself is get yourself out of that stressed fight and flight and get yourself into more of a rest and repair, you know, rest and breathe kind of place. Did we just get a question? Laura, no questions at this point, but thank you so much. This was such a great live.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Actually, Laura and you, I feel like would be a good match.
Oh, all right. Laura, I'll
throwing that out there, Laura.
Laura, I will see you in my DMs. Holler at me.
We'll
take it from there. Text me. Be really fun. Oh, someone just signed up for texts.
Oh, great.
How fun is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Well, if no one has a question, I don't know, is there anything else that you'd like to bring up at this juncture?
No, I think I have shared it all. That after 20 years of health and wellness, what really stands out for me as the primary root cause keeping us from living in our optimum wellness and truly healing is attending to our mindset. Mm-hmm. It just really, as someone who is very, very sick, for folks who missed the beginning of this, I think there is few things as important as looking at the way we talk to and about ourselves and the stories that we tell about our lives, not in a fake positivity way, but in a getting really real, getting radically honest and stepping into radical acceptance about your life. So that's my central message. If you want to work with me, drop me a DM, follow me here, Victoria Albina Wellness, and be in touch. I have space for 2 more one-on-one coaching clients, but I'm enrolling my masterclass for a September 28th start. It's a little over half full. So if you are interested in working with me, now's the time.
Now's the time. Now is the time, really, with so many extra added stressors thrown in to the mix, right? With COVID and quarantine and all these things.
A revolution.
Yeah. I mean, really, there's just an unbelievable amount of stressors. Yeah. It would be really nice. I feel like it's a good time to unburden some of the foundational stressors, right? So everything else feels a little bit lighter.
Yeah, I love that framework. Lighten the load.
Down.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you for this opportunity, Jen. This has been so fabulous.
I'm so happy you decided to come on. I really appreciate your time. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too.
Yeah. It's been too long. And I love your haircut.
Oh, thank you. You can tell I did it myself.
No.
And oh, really? It's so funny. So the perfection, I had a lot of talks with my inner perfectionist and my inner critic about how we were going to do this, and it wasn't going to be perfect, but it was going to be great. We were going to watch a lot of YouTubes, but we were just going to go for it. And I went for it, and I love it. And it was funny. It was really actually a healing practice in releasing perfectionism.
Wow, it's amazing.
And what's really great right now is like, I can see where it's not perfect, but I don't care anymore. Right? Like 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I have to get it perfect. And now I'm just like, there's hair on my head.
Well, you know what's funny, even funnier, is that to me, it looks perfect. To me, it looks perfectly.
Well, that's the irony of perfectionism.
That is the irony.
Right.
Yeah. I had this conversation with a client today, which I won't get into, but same. She saw herself as one thing, and I was like, this is such a beautiful girl, like so beautiful, and I just wanted to like go through the computer and hug her and say, like, no, you're a beauty. You're perfect.
Yep. I love that. Yeah. And seeing the places where your brain is from that critical self-protective habit telling you you're something less than beautiful. And really learning that meta skill of being your own watcher, so you can say, I hear you, brain. Don't believe you, but thank you.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. And Victoria, I hope I get to see you sometime soon in person.
I would love that.
Enjoy the new place.
Thank you.
Everyone, just remember, Tuesdays, Marilyn, my partner, and I do an IG Live dedicated to you guys. It's virtual office hours. It's free service to the community. Anyone can come on and ask a question about their own health condition, a loved one's health condition. So we're here for you, and this is our way of giving back. So we'll see you Tuesday at 4:30.
Love that.
All right, sweetie. Take care.
Bye. Thank
Bye, everybody.
you.